Welcome back here to field number 1 at Dick's Sporting Goods Park in the 2014 World Lacrosse Championships. I'm Jeff Williams for CoachesAid.com. We've got a great matchup for you here getting underway shortly. This one's going to feature Russian national team. Russian will be wearing the white jersey with the red sleeves and red numbers. And they'll be taking on wearing all black head to toe. Well, with the exception of their shoes, I guess, so not quite head to toe, head to ankle. New Zealand, and New Zealand just put on quite a performance in their pregame ritual, which was highly entertaining. One of the many things that we've enjoyed here so far in the tournament, getting to witness firsthand some of the customs and traditions of other places. 38 nations participating in this year's 2014 World Lacrosse Championships, culminating next weekend when they'll crown a champion. Still in the midst of pool play here, and we'll be weeding things out over the next few days, continue with pool play, and then they'll reseed things, and then they'll get after it tournament style and crown a champion next Sunday. So again, Russia in white. They'll be the visiting team. And the home team will be, well, check that. This is a little bit different. Last time the white team was the road team, but it may not be the case this time around. Either way, Russia in white, New Zealand in black. And this should be an outstanding matchup. Really looking forward to this one. I think we're about squared away here and ready to get things going as the officials have given their teams their final instructions in the getting set to face off here for New Zealand. That's number 19, Edward Roberts, midfielder. And number 28 for Russia, that's Will Koshansky. Kudos to the Russian squad, whoever's responsible for their team's PR. I got pronunciations along with my roster, which is very helpful and very rare. But New Zealand wins the opening face-off, and they'll go on the attack. As Roberts pushing it now into the attack zone. Down to John Clayton. Clayton backs off. We've got a whistle now. First one of the game. Russia making some substitutions. We'll have a, right off the bat here, penalty. That is number 28, Koshansky. New Zealand now goes about the task of setting up their offense, trying to find a weakness in this Russian defense. And there's a fired shot from the point. That's number 19. That's Edward Roberts, my mistake. Check that. That was number 18. 18, Mike Clayton. The assist would go to Edward Roberts. So 1-0 early here in favor of New Zealand, courtesy of the Mike Clayton goal. So Roberts will head back to the face-off here, and this time in the face-off for Russia. It's Nick Koshansky, so a different Koshansky as Will serving time in for the penalty. New Zealand now behind the Russian net there. That's John Clayton. 3 Claytons, John, Richard, and Andrew on this New Zealand roster. Wearing 1, 2, and 3. Imagine there's a Clayton family back in New Zealand, quite proud. Russia managed to get the ball back, and they'll go about the task of getting out of their own end. so they can go on the tank. That's on the attack. That's Will Kashansky. He gets it ahead to brother Kashansky. That's Nick. Russia now trying to set things up. Zachary Cowan, number 2. We'll have a turnover, and New Zealand will get on the rush here and try to get something going back the other direction. And they do. They manage to break that press from Russia and get it into the attacking zone. Behind the net they go. John Clayton with it now. He gives it up to Aaron Graham. Aaron now being patient now, waiting for some substitutions. Behind the net now. This is number 17. That's Jeremy Kincaid. Kincaid looking for an opportunity, couldn't find one, so he gives up to Clayton behind the net. Clayton to Graham. And around they go back to Kincaid. Kincaid finds one of the Clayton brothers. That one, Andrew, came up empty though. And we'll have a turnover. New Zealand going to put a little pressure on Russia. Russia's kind of taking their time trying to get the ball out of their own end. Russia's patience pays off as now they're going to go backwards. And now across in midfield, this is number 20. This is Philip Lee. Philip Le, my mistake. Pronounced Le, L-E. Russia having a difficult time finding an opening, finding any kind of a window here. It's a very pestering defense from New Zealand. Andrew Pritzleff. Bit of a pest, and there you get Kincaid in the mix, using the stick to thwart off the Russian attack. 3 Pritzleff players, Alex, Andrew, and John. We've got a penalty as I believe Dimitri Hameen may need to have his cleats tightened. That was a big hit. And in the interim, we'll have a penalty, and that's Max Vandermaas. And there is an illegal body check, and Max will serve 1 minute here in the timeout chair, the naughty chair. So Russia with a man up, they fire one. That one gets through, as it appeared that the goalie for New Zealand, Casey McLean, had a beat on that one, but the shot fired out of the basket of Eugene Aripov gets through. So Eugene evening things up for Russia. One to one. Back to the face-off we go. As that's John Pritzloff trying to win the faceoff for New Zealand, but comes up empty, and Kushansky, that's Nick Kushansky, ends up with it for Russia. He fires one. Comes up empty, but now Russia back on the attack, feeling like perhaps they have a little bit of momentum, certainly a little bit more confidence there after scoring the goal and getting on the board. And here comes New Zealand on the attack, and that's number 23. That's Toby Dillamore.
If they lift their helmets to drink, that's totally fine. It's a hot day, but yeah, they have to stay as a player, so to say.
John Clayton behind the net. This is Mike Clayton. Number 18 scored the goal earlier. There's a nice shot there. Andrew Clayton, but he came up empty. New Zealand will maintain. Roderick John now gives it behind to Clayton. Clayton to Clayton, and that one missed. And there's another fine shot from Mike Clayton. 4 Claytons on this squad. I'm going to have to get some clarification as to how many of these young men are related to one another. But Mike Clayton, number 18, midfielder with a pair of goals here to get things going for Team New Zealand. So to the face-off we'll go. Dug out there by number 25. That's Henry Ling, my mistake. Henry digs it out, and it's gathered up by Aaron Graham and taken into the zone. Andrew Clayton with it. Back to John Clayton. And there's Clayton again. John Clayton with an early hat trick. That may be the fastest hat trick I've ever seen. 1, 2, 3. Oh, black number 5, my mistake. Aaron Graham. We've got a timeout as Russia needs to gather things. Things slipping away rather quickly. And goodness, those of you keeping tabs on other games, we've got a player down in the Switzerland-Scotland game. And unfortunately, we're seeing an ambulance on the field over there. And they're bringing out a backboard. So let's... positive thoughts heading toward Team Scotland right now. Yes. We'll break things here and get back to action on our game. So last goal scored by Aaron Graham. I mistakenly called it for Mike Clayton. My mistake. Giving credit for the hat trick a little prematurely to Mike, although with 2 early goals, you can't help but think that that's not out of his reach here this afternoon. Out of the timeout, Henry Ling will face things off for New Zealand. And Philip Le, facing things off for Russia. And New Zealand begging and getting a penalty for offsides as where the defenseman came across. And we'll have a penalty as New Zealand will go man up here. It's going to be on number 8, Jordan Friedman. '20-year-old defenseman. Friedman, Colgate University. New Zealand once again in the attacking zone there. That one bounced off the stick of Richard Clayton and into the awaiting stick of the Russian defender, now the Russian goalie, Ray Zimlin. Trying to find a way out, and he flips it ahead, but unfortunately nobody there. Now there's a scrum for it. Friedman comes up with it as he was able to fight off 2 New Zealanders to get to it. Great effort there from Friedman. And here's Russia now on the attack, and they flip one at the goal, but looked like a New Zealand stick got in the way of the shot and skewed it wide to the right. And New Zealand able to gather. And now they head on back on the attack as this one all the way ahead, all the way down to James Devine. We'll have some more substitutions here as Richard Clayton will step in as Mike Clayton comes out. So John Clayton with it behind the net. As Richard Clayton being encouraged by his coach to do something with the ball, making an attempt to drive toward the goal. This is Roderick John. Andrew Clayton now. You hear the applause in the background, that being for the Scottish player on the opposing field here, who's being put onto a gurney, apparent head or neck or spine injury, and good to see them not taking any chances and taking every precaution as they get him off the field. Russia now trying to go on the attack. This is Eugene Aripuff. Eugene makes a move. Nobody there to really help him as he has to kick it back to Kashinsky rather. Number 28 and number 38, both Kashansky, Eugene, and Nick. Winds up for a big shot there. That's number 24. That's Eugene Aripuff, and that's Eugene's second goal of the game. Now we're 3-2. Is Russia able to narrow the gap? A lot of concern on the concerned looks heading the direction of the young Scotsman who's being hauled away in an ambulance right now. As all that's going on a field adjacent to where we are. You guys know and understand. And you've seen a lot of camaraderie between nations here, which has really been rather exciting. You see New Zealand went through a rather extravagant pre-game ritual, in which they did in front of the Russian national team, and when they wrapped up, the Russians quick to offer their applause, their appreciation for the show, as Clayton's shot sails high and out of play. John Clayton's shot. Now Andrew Clayton with it. And this time Andrew finds number 25, Henry Ling, for the shot and goal. So Henry Ling scores a goal for New Zealand. Nicholas Rayedkin will face off for Russia, and he'll face number 25, the young man who just scored the goal, Henry Ling. Henry's able to scoop that one between his legs. It's gathered up behind him by Aaron Graham, and Aaron Graham will lead the charge into the attacking zone. Aaron finds James Devine, now behind to Andrew Clayton. Andrew Clayton finds John, and John shoots and scores. So Andrew with his second assist on the game, and John with his first goal. And now it's 5-2 in favor of the All Black squad from New Zealand. Edward Roberts, a face-off for New Zealand. And that is Will Kashansky for Team Russia. Edwards comes away with it on a clean scrum there, and he gets it ahead. This time it's James Devine. Devine takes a step back, gets it in behind the net. This is Clayton. Clayton out to the point to Mike Clayton. That was Andrew Clayton to Mike Clayton. And now there's a scrum. The ball's on the ground, loose in front of the Russian goal, and we're going to have the whistle here. Is number 29. That's Travis Karpak. Got a little overzealous there with the physical play. Less than 2 here, just under 2 minutes here to play in the first quarter. And what's been a pretty quick, fast-paced game here. Edwards at the point, and he just blows that one right by Ray Zimlin. Now we can credit Mike Clayton with that hat trick, because that's number 3. The Clayton clan getting things done for Team New Zealand. Here we go, facing off again after the last goal. That one scooped between the legs of Nick Ravenhall, but nobody there to grab it as the Russian defender saw that trick one too many times and was able to beat the New Zealand defenseman there. And here comes a flag coming in. This is going to be a delayed penalty. Russia on the attack, and that's Eugene Aripov. And Eugene, responsible for the only 2 goals for Russia so far here today, as we've got winding down to about 30 seconds to play. Again, a continuously running clock here at the 2014 Lacrosse World Championships. And the only exception being the final 3 minutes of the game. So we'll have the clock running nonstop throughout, and we've got a little bit of a penalty situation here as Nick Ravenhall will find his way. He'll be in there for 1 minute, so we'll have some carryover time here. Nick Kashansky, and that's the quarter. So we've played one, and it's been all New Zealand here, 6-2. We'll step aside and be back with the second quarter right after this on CoachesAid.com. Welcome back here to Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Jeff Williams with CoachesAid.com bringing you live action from field number 1 of the 2014 World Lacrosse Championships. 1 quarter in the books here in this matchup between Russia and New Zealand, and thus far it's been the Clayton brothers from New Zealand who have been the difference. New Zealand with a 6-2 lead here. Mike Clayton with a hat trick, and John Clayton adding another goal. Andrew Clayton getting in on the action with an assist. So the Clayton clan representing very well here in Denver, Colorado today. Ravenhall again still in the serving the penalty. Time will be winding down. He'll be entering in the game here shortly. This is John Clayton. Back behind the Russian goal. Something of note, you've seen these 6 goals from New Zealand. They really have had no, Ray Zimlin, the goalie for Russia, has had no answer for that whatsoever. And the only shots that he's managed to stop were shots that hit him directly. So when New Zealand misses the goalie, they hit the goal. So really a point of emphasis their coaching staff is making is miss the goalie and you'll score. And this is Edward Roberts. Edward had to go back and get it. He gets it ahead. Now behind Roberts, and we'll have another penalty here. Get this penalty situation sorted out. Interference. Travis Karpak is going to be serving a 30-second penalty for that. And so you'll see New Zealand man up here in a game where they really haven't had much issue scoring. They're really the only team that stopped themselves from scoring. Russia has had no answer. Here comes Clayton, and that one missed. Hit. Look like that might hit the post. The far post is a red-hot shot from John Clayton. Goes sailing out of bounds. Nick Lowe gets it, though. Brings it back in, and they'll set it back for play. This one gets away, as there's a bit of miscommunication there between Roberts and Clayton. Now ahead. Here comes Russia. This is Kashansky. Charging hard. Not meeting a whole lot of resistance. Now that New Zealand defense clamping down, not letting him through. And this one, loose ball scooped up. This is John Pritzlaff, number 10, charging into the attacking zone. He's got the long pole. Takes a shot there from Nick Kashansky. Now John Clayton with it in the corner. He flips it back behind to Richard. Richard finds Nick Lowe, but Nick's shot blocked. Shot that was right on Zimlin, and Zimlin able to make the save. Now Zimlin behind the goal, in a bit of trouble. Even more trouble now for Russia as they're able to get clear there. They had their goalie well out of position. Russia making the substitution here. Philip Le. My mistake. L-E. Le. So Eugene Aripov. And so you heard the New Zealand coaches calling for his players to press and not allow Team Russia to catch their breath. Keep keep on them. And there's a shot. Good save there for number 15. Casey McLean, the goaltender for New Zealand, who was right on that, unable to corral it, but fortunately, New Zealand corrals it, and there's Max Vandermaas, and finds one of the Claytons. That's Andrew Clayton on the assist from Vandermaas. So credit Vandermaas with the assist, and now Andrew Clayton with a goal and a pair of assists on the day. Great play the other guy, started by a great defensive effort, and then great hustle back down the other end. Henry Ling will face off for New Zealand. And Philip Le for Russia. Ling manages to poke that one behind him, and it's gathered up by Aaron Graham, and now Aaron making his way into the attacking zone ahead to John Clayton. John Clayton goes back behind to Andrew Clayton, number 2. And this one out to the point there, and the shot's going to be fired by Jeremy Kincaid. It goes wide left and out of bounds. Going to be played back behind the net, played back in by Andrew Clayton. Andrew gets it to Graham. Graham to Kincaid. Clayton now to Graham. Graham loses the handle, and it's scooped up by Le for Russia. Back the other way, but he loses it. Graham gathers it back up for New Zealand, and back they go. Kincaid ahead to John Clayton. John Clayton behind to Andrew. Andrew back to John, and that one off the stick there, as that was right on Zimlin. And there's a scrum for it in the far corner. New Zealand comes away with it. That's number 6, Nick Lowe. Back behind, this is Andrew Clayton. Andrew gets it out to the top to Graham. Graham fires one low and finds the spot. Oh, Aaron Graham with the goal, his second of the match. And now we're looking at a 7-1 ball game here. Or 8. I've got 8. Let me check with my producer. What do you have for a score? 8-2? That's what I've got. Making sure we got it right. 8-2, New Zealand. Will Kashansky will head to the face-off for Russia. He'll be met there by Edward Roberts for New Zealand. This one poked away by Roberts. Roberts able to scoop it with Kashansky on his heels. The speed of Roberts, he's able to break free and now peels off to give himself some room. Toby Delamore, number 23. Going to carry it over. Hand it off to teammate Roderick John. Roderick now going to set the pace here and get this offense going. Back to Roberts. Roberts waiting as New Zealand makes a few more substitutions. This time Richard Clayton, number 3, checking in. John down low to Andrew Clayton. Now around to Roberts. Roberts looking for a window. Can't find one, gives it up to John Clayton. John thought about ripping one, but thought better of it. Gives it up to Roderick John. John behind to Andrew Clayton. Back to Roderick John. He fires one, but the stick of Will Kashansky gets in the way, and the shot goes harmlessly out of bounds, and Russia will take over. Russia now coming out of their own zone. This is Jacob Richards. Jacob's gonna give it up to Aripov. Eugene, well, he may be trying to rest, but he's gonna be pressed as Roderick John's gonna make him do something with it. And there he goes on the attack. Kashansky looking for a window, can't find one. He has it poked away. And it's gonna be dug out Loose at midfield. Jacob Richards comes away with it for Russia. Now Alex Pritzlaff, number 8, has it. And a hard shot there. Let's check that. Pritzlaff with the hard shot. Jordan Freeman, both men wearing number 8. I got him confused, my mistake. And we've got a timeout from Russia. Great game so far. New Zealand on top 8-2. While we've got a minute here during the timeout, I want to tell you about some of our terrific sponsors. This timeout is going to be brought to you by Groove, Toyota, Subaru, Mazda, and Ford, located in Inglewood and Centennial. And also at 24/7 on GrooveAuto.com. Experience the power of yes at Groove Auto. Also, to all those that hunger for real, Applebee's is the favorite neighborhood restaurant where you can come as you are to connect with those important in your life over food and beverages that you love every single day. So see you tomorrow. Come by and see them. The freshest flavors this side of the neighborhood. Applebee's. Big thanks to those folks helping sponsor this event, making it possible for us to do this. Folks from all over the place who maybe weren't able to travel to see these young men play, whether they be aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandpas, or even parents who weren't able to make the trip. Gives them an opportunity to keep tabs on the young men from their area. See how they're faring here in the 2014 World Lacrosse Championships. Getting set here to break the huddles, and we'll get back to action. 10 minutes, 11 seconds left here in the first half. The second quarter about halfway through. Both teams will be at full strength when we head back to action here. Back to action now. Russia with it. They'll get going here. Zachary Cowan, number 2, fighting for some space down there as this New Zealand defense tends to try to choke off any attack there and there. That's number 7, Nicholas Riedkin. Riedkin gives it up. And Alec Tilley trying to find a window there. This is Hameen. Hameen goes down. Nope, that's not. Oh, now we've got a turnover here. New Zealand on the attack. This is number 20, Omar Al-Kayat. Kayat, rather. He gives it up to John Roberts. And score. Is that number 9 with the score? I believe it is. That's the case. That's Andrew Pritzlaff. Number 9, Andrew Pritzlaff. Scores 1 for New Zealand. Inside of 9 minutes to play now. And Andrew Pritzlaff's goal gives New Zealand a 7-goal lead as we make our way toward halftime here. Philip Le for Russia to face off. This one won by Henry Ling, pops it up and able to play that back to teammate Jeremy Kincaid, who will bring it across now into the attacking zone. This is James Devine. James Devine looking for a window there. He's going to swap places with John Clayton and make his way back around the other side as the ball gets away from him. Now there's a scrum on the far side. Poked away and gathered up again, this time by Kincaid. Aaron Graham to John Clayton. Clayton looking for a window. Can't find it, gives up, goes behind. And that one goes into the back of his own teammate. My goodness, that hurt. That's James Devine. Took a shot in the back by number 17. Jeremy Kincaid fired a shot and James Devine was in the way, and that looked like it hit him maybe in the small of the back. You worry about the kidneys in that area. When you see a guy get hit there, it's always a concern. While the training staff going to tend to Mr. Kincaid. And the official coming out, blowing the whistle while we've got the injury timeout and making a mandatory 2-minute water break. It is getting very hot, extremely humid here, and these officials are very mindful that those are dangerous conditions when you're talking about physical activity. So they're going to make these young men take a moment, get a break. While they do that, we're going to step aside, and we'll be back with more lacrosse action, the 2014 World Lacrosse Championships right here on CoachesAid.com. Welcome back here after the water break, and after New Zealand was able to get the injured player James Devine off the field. He's got a towel on his head on the bench there. Hopefully he's probably feeling pretty rough after taking the shot in the back from his teammate. Great chop there, little touch pass there from Richard Clayton and Ben Gilmore. Ben Gilmore able to pop it in on the soft pass from Andrew Clayton. So a goal for Gilmore and the third assist for the day for Andrew Clayton, who's, again, last name Clayton. You've been involved in some offensive plays for New Zealand today, whether it be Mike, Andrew, Richard, or James. All those fellows have been in on the action today. Back to the face-off here. Once again, this is Philip Le for Russia. And this one initially won, but had to be gathered up, and that's number 14. That's Max Vondermaas. Max with an assist on the day. Max, after his hard work there on the face-off, will come off to the sideline, give way to some more attackers. Mike Clayton on. Mike already has a hat trick as he makes his way back into the game. This one behind the net. Clayton to Clayton. That one looks like it hit maybe the top crossbar. So I'm trying to peer through the New Zealand French to see the game. Not always easy. There's some big lads for this New Zealand squad. See, I'm a big guy. I go 6'1". I can't see over some of these guys. The shot ripped by number 19, Edward Roberts. Out of bounds and back behind the action, now back behind the net. This is going to be Andrew Clayton getting things ready. Over to Mike, back out top and around the other side to Roberts. Swing back around. This is Mike Clayton looking for a window, can't find one. Backs away, flips it back behind to Andrew Clayton, who goes to the far side. Roderick John gives it over, mishandled there by Mike Clayton, but Mike's got it back, gets it behind to Andrew. Andrew goes far side to Roberts. Roberts makes a move and finds the goal. So good work there from Edward Roberts, who adds a goal to his total today, go along with an assist from earlier. Again, all New Zealand here so far in the first half. We've got about 4:40 left to go here in the second quarter. Nick Kashansky's going to face off here for Russia. I believe that's Roberts. It is Roberts, and Kashansky wins it away from Roberts, and he goes right on the attack. Flips that one, and New Zealand's going to have that one. Misplayed opportunity there for Nick Kashansky. Because now we're all the way back on the other side. Roberts with it now. Roberts gets it to Andrew Clayton, who misplays it, but he's able to gather it. Friedman in his face. Manages to get a shot off, does Andrew, but it goes wide left. We've got a penalty now. Let's sort this out. It appears it's going to be on Russia. We'll get the clarification. So Friedman going to have a serve 1 minute here for unsportsmanlike conduct. And a dire situation for Russia gets a little worse here now as New Zealand goes man up here in a game that they've got well in hand with a 9-goal lead with just over 3 minutes to play here in the first half. This is John Clayton with it. He gets it to Andrew. Andrew to Roberts. Mike back around, goes full circle. Back around to John Clayton, who's looking for a window behind. And a rip there. That went off the back of the leg. Goodness, that had to hurt. Clayton's shot goes off the back of the leg. Try to get a number. I think that's 31. I think that's Artem Zarubin. Zarubin a little worse for the wear, but he's up. Well, no doubt a pretty wicked Charlie horse, I would imagine. Hit him right in the back of the calf. Could not have felt good. So after all of that and the injury, injured player off the field. Russia will get it here. Clock will remain stopped until it's whistled for play, and here we go. 2 minutes, 45 seconds to play here in the first half. Russia with it. Zimlin behind his own net looking for some help. Good pressure once again from New Zealand. They're really making Russia work. I think New Zealand's banking on the fact that they're in better shape and they're just going to outrun Russia and outwork them, and so far that's been the case. We've got a flag here. Check that, not a flag or whistle, but we've got an offsides call against Russia, so New Zealand going to get back at it here. On the attack they go. This is Andrews. Check that, Richard Clayton. Back in deep on the near side. He flips it around to Andrew. Andrew behind the goal. Over to Mike. 4 Claytons in the game for New Zealand. John to Andrew. Over to Mike. Up top, 27, that's Roderick John. John back to Andrew. Andrew looking for something, and he gets a nice shot out front. Check that. He finds Richard, but Richard misses the mouth of the goal, goes wide, but New Zealand will retain possession. This is Roderick John being hassled out there. That's number 17, Jacob Richards, giving him all he can handle. John gets cleared in behind, and he'll kick it back to Andrew Clayton. Andrew finds Mike. Mike back to John at the top. Roderick John rips one, but a kind of a half-hearted shot, and they're going to say that's a pass. It was kind of a half-hearted effort. I don't know if you kind of one of those in-betweeners. Could that be a pass or was that a shot? Regardless, Russia will have possession here inside of 45 seconds to play here in the first half now. You can tell Russia taking their time when they get the ball on offense, and I think the good reason for that is they're gassed. They're tired. New Zealand has been relentless in the way they've managed, where they've been pressuring Russia defensively. And as much, not that as New Zealand has had the ball offensively, Russia's gassed from trying to play defense. So a shot to the Russian player goes out of bounds. This is Dmitry Kamen. Or Hameen, my mistake. And there we go, that's going to do it. After one half of play, New Zealand all over Russia, 11-2. We'll step aside and be back with second half action right after this, right here on Coach's 8. Welcome back here to field number 1 at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Jeff Williams for CoachesAid.com bringing you second half action here in early pool play in the 2014 World Lacrosse Championships, New Zealand. All over Russia, 11-2 here as we get set to start the third quarter. Mike Clayton, number 18 for New Zealand, already recorded a hat trick today. It's been a pretty darn good name for anybody with the last name Clayton. If you're in New Zealand, you gotta like that. Russia looking to fight and get away, get themselves back in the game as Edwards comes away with the draw there, and he'll push it hard. Peeling off now, trying to find a little bit of room to go on the attack. It's Roberts and Mike Clayton out front now, down to John Clayton. Back around behind, that's Lowe. And on the near side here, that's Roderick John. Back over to Edwards. Edwards puts a move on. Couldn't find it there, mishandled there. Edwards, not a bad pass. Edwards just didn't have his stick on it. New Zealand doesn't get the call, and you heard the drones coming from the bench. Turnover. Russia will take it back. This is Jacob Richards with the number 17. He's going to give it up to Nikolai Yefimov. Coming hard, charging in right off the bench and gathering up and causing the turnover, Max Vandermaas. Max back with it now as he tries to get it out of the out of his own end. Mike Clayton now across midfield, and he'll carry it into the zone. Back behind. That's John Clayton. John back to Mike. Mike cross court to Edwards. In behind now, this is John Clayton. And John Clayton with the assist. Andrew Clayton with the goal. So once again, the Clayton combination working out well for New Zealand. Now with a 10-point lead here early in the third period. Just inside of 18 minutes to play. Henry Ling being the face-off for New Zealand. And it's Nick Kashansky for Russia. That one swept away, but Nick Kashansky able to corral it momentarily, but that choking defense from New Zealand swoops in and knocks it away, and now they're on the run, and we're going to have a whistle. And New Zealand once again not happy with the call. It did appear perhaps Alex Pritzliff had possession of that. The official on that sideline didn't see it that way, and we'll have it Russia ball. Friedman with it now deep in Russia's zone. Puts a move on Andrew Clayton and gets away. And Clayton finds him again and gives him a parting shot as he crosses midfield. Friedman's shot there bounces in as he's able to beat the goalie, Casey McLean. So we'll credit Friedman, youngster. Colgate University. Breaks up a rather long scoring drought for Russia, something they needed. Still 9 goals that they've got to overcome to get back in this game. But it starts with one, and we'll see Nick Kashansky facing off once again with Nick Ravenhall, my mistake. Ravenhall comes away with it. He's being harassed there, Jacob Richards. Ravenhall gets it ahead. This time he's got James Devine. Good to see James back in the game after taking a shot from a teammate in the back. Got a little caught his breath and able to recuperate during the intermission. Good to see him back out on the field. Jeremy Kincaid with it now. He gives it up to Roderick John. Roderick's going to try to pick up some speed and take it out. He gives it up. Great pass. Good save there, though. Nice work. That's number 32 in goal, so we've got a new goalie. That's Drew Zambelli in goal for Russia now, here in this third quarter. Zambelli with a good save. It had been Ray Zimlin in goal for Russia in the first half, but Russian coaches elected to go with the change, and so far so good. That one bounces away. This is going to be picked up by David Diamanum. Zachary Cowan with it, number 2 for Russia. He gets it back to Kashansky near midfield. Kashansky will take a pause and regroup here. We're seeing New Zealand not allow this in the first half. When Russia would try to take a moment and get back there maybe to collect themselves, we were seeing New Zealand get a bit more physical, and now I think we're going to have another flag and another flag, and this was a tip. Now we're going to have some cheap after the fact stuff here from Russia, and another flag. Now I think that's 4 or maybe 5. Too many to count. I think anybody who has a yellow hanky has thrown it at this point. Bear with us, folks. This is liable to be quite a rat's nest as we try to unravel exactly what happened here. Fortunately, these officials have been well versed, and they'll get us the pertinent information. Nick Kashansky coming over dejectedly to the sidelines, and he doesn't even bother to pass the good advice there from one of the coaches from Team New Zealand. You may have heard the frustration is theirs, let them own it. And that's certainly, I think, where this started. Russia struggling in this matchup, a little overmatched by New Zealand, and that can be frustrating when you're competitive, as these young men are. So it's still taking a little bit of time to sort things out. It does appear that Nick Kashansky is just going to admit guilt and have a seat and wait for the judgment to come. The officials huddling away from everyone, trying to sort it out. New Zealand coach rallying his troops. Give them a little instruction here. You don't ever want to see your team respond when something dirty happens. Good advice was given. It's their frustration. Let them own it. They always tend to get the guy retaliating, too. He always seems to be the guy that gets caught. So I think the officials have, at this point, sorted things out. And they've broken their huddle, so perhaps we'll get some answers here. So the head official here bringing the coaches together, and I'm sure there'll be some conversations. The initial foul was on black number 10. That's John Pritzloff, defenseman. And then it would appear that after the fact there was some shenanigans on both sides. Bear with us here. We're still trying to sort this out. Oh. The initial foul, though, we do know this for, was on number 10, John Pritzloff for New Zealand. After that, things begin. Bodies were flying, and so were flags, and so. All right. Good job by the official there, bringing the coaches together, explaining things, and squelching a situation that could have gotten out of hand. So, simultaneous fouls. Black 10. Technical foul. 38, that's Kashansky. It's 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike, so Kashansky will get 2 minutes. So we'll have 5-on-5 lacrosse here for the first 30 seconds. And when the Pritzlaff foul has expired for a minute and a half, New Zealand will be a man up. So for as many, only 2 fouls for as many flags that were thrown. We've got it sorted out. Even here, 5-on-5, until the John Pritzlaff penalty expires for 30 seconds. And then for a minute and a half, New Zealand will be a man up, as the Kashansky penalty is a 2-minute unsportsmanlike. Back to action here. It would appear that and the Pritzlaff penalty has expired, and Richard Clayton charges onto the field. Mike Clayton gets it over to Edwards. Edwards to Devine. In behind to Andrew Clayton. Across to John. John rips one and finds the back of the net. Not a very big window there for John Clayton to be shooting at, but he found it. Clayton with his second goal. Andrew Clayton with his 4th assist to go along with a pair of goals for number 2. Again, pretty darn good day to be a Clayton. They've been all over the place here on the offensive side of the scorebook. (13-3). As we get back to this, Robert Edwards to face off, and he'll face off against Jacob Richards. I believe that's number 17. It is. Edwards wins it easy, handled back by Mike Clayton. Mike plants and deals it back to Edwards. Not Edwards, it's Roberts. Edward Roberts, my mistake. There's Mike Clayton to Andrew, and Andrew tried to flip it into Richard, but Richard was a little off the mark. Richard didn't get an opportunity there. Richard, the only Clayton to yet to make his mark in the scorebook today. So back to even strength here as the Kashansky penalty has expired. He's tired, John. He's tired. You hear the New Zealand page. They really have done an outstanding job of keeping the tempo, dictating the tempo to Russia exactly how hard they're going to play. And Russia is gassed. It is quite obvious that they're gassed, yet they keep going. And here's Friedman with the long pole, making his way into the offensive attack zone and loses it. We've got a whistle here. Penalty. Penalty is going to be on John Clayton. We've got a timeout. I believe that's Russia who called the timeout. 10 minutes and 7 seconds to play here in the third quarter. We'll have a 30-second, I believe, penalty on John Clayton, number 1. John having an outstanding game thus far. Pair of goals, an assist, and now a penalty. So I guess that's a Gordie Howe hat trick if we're watching hockey. While we've got a minute here during the timeout, Sells Homes, CELS, is your premier real estate business serving Denver and the surrounding communities. Let experts in Denver, Colorado help you through the real estate buying or selling process. Contact them today at 303-564-9637 or check them out online at www.celshomes.com. Yanni's, a sip, a glass of wine, enjoy a traditional meal, and savor life's simple pleasures at Yanni's, Denver's best Greek cuisine. They're located at 5425 Landmark Place in Greenwood Village. Big thanks to all our sponsors helping us bring this broadcast to you today and throughout the week, as we're very excited to be here all week long for these 2014 World Lacrosse Championships. On a personal note, I've thoroughly enjoyed getting the opportunity to interact and watch these young men from different cultures from all over the place. Again, 38 nations competing in this championship. It's the largest ever of its kind tournament for lacrosse, so truly incredible. Timeout is over, and we'll get back to play here. Russia will have the ball. They'll have possession when we resume play. Again, 10 minutes, 7 seconds to play here in the third period. New Zealand on top, 13-3. And we've got, it's a 1-minute penalty on John Clayton. I thought it was a 30-second one. That was my mistake. So Russia man up for the next about 45 seconds. Russia trying to find a window, and there is a window. Friedman had to rush the shot a little bit, though, and it really didn't even get close to the net of Casey McLean. The Kashansky brothers taking turns with the puck down. This time, that's Nick Kashansky on the assist from Will Kashansky. So Russia narrows the gap back to 9, trailing 13-4. We'll go to the face-off. It'll be Henry Ling making his way out to the center of the field for New Zealand. And he'll square off with Philip Le, number 20. It's a good save there as John Clayton's shot, it looked like it went off the face mask of the netminder Drew Zambelli. So Russia now with it. Across midfield with it now. That's number 29, Travis Karpak. He gives it a head down into the far near corner it goes with Dimitri Kamin. Hameen. Kamin is the young man's name. All the way back around with it, Alec Tilley. Alec not finding anything he likes, so he gives it up to Eugene Aripov. Eugene has it poked away and popped up in the air and waiting for somebody to corral it. A loose ball remains that way as now it goes off of Russia out of bounds. So New Zealand going to handle it. That's going to be number 9, Andrew Pritzlove, who's going to get things going here for New Zealand. Andrew with a goal on the day. There's Johnny Pritzleff. And we've got an offside penalty. Will be a delayed call, so New Zealand going to push it in. This will be Henry Ling. Now we'll get the whistle. So New Zealand again wearing all black with white numbers. Russia with the white jersey, red sleeves, and red numbers. And it's going to be number 42. That's Alexander Zarubin, who was offsides, and he'll serve the time. Once again, it looks like all the Claytons are on the field for New Zealand. Is Mike, John, Andrew, and Richard all in the game. And they're going to take a moment now to make sure that these athletes are hydrating themselves. And while they do that, we'll take a moment. We'll step aside. We'll be back after the water timeout in just a moment. All right, after the water break, everybody's hydrated and ready to get back to action here in the third quarter. 6.5 minutes to play. 5 seconds left on the offsides penalty. New Zealand with it here as they work it around. This is John Clayton up top to Mike. Mike kicks it over to Edward Roberts. And that one mishandled behind the net by Andrew Clayton. Out of bounds will have a turnover. Russia will take the ball back. And the penalty has expired as David Diamanan checks in. This is Jacob Richards, number 17, bringing it in. He gives it to Diamanan. I believe we had a whistle called. That one did end up in the net, but the stop the clock. We had the whistle stopped. Not sure what happened there, but Russia has the ball. And this is Nicholas Riedkin, number 7. He'll get things going there as he kicks it back to Friedman. Jordan Friedman had a pretty solid game for Team Russia so far today. 5:20 to play here in the third quarter. Eugene Argipov with it. He scored a pair of goals, 2 of the 4 goals for Russia, in courtesy of Eugene and his efforts. And now New Zealand with it, and they flip the field rather quickly, and they're pushing it They want to push it. They got numbers. They feel they can. Good move there from John Clayton. John Clayton, that's the hat trick. That's his third one of the game. I believe they're going to say that John's goal was unassisted. Nick Ravenhall will face off for New Zealand. You can't see the number on the Russian player, but this one pushed away. That's number 7, Nicholas Riedkin. And we have a whistle, and the ball will go to Russia. 4 minutes left here in the third period. New Zealand with a 10-goal lead. We'll have clock stopped here. We had a bit of an issue out there. They're winding the clock now. Philip Le trying to find a crease somewhere that he can exploit, but as has been the case all day long with this New Zealand defense, there just isn't one. And Russia will retain possession after the whistle. Riedkin will get things going here as he loses the handle. And as we've seen all day, just a swarming defensive effort from New Zealand. This time it's number 9, Andrew Pritzloff, who presses it all the way in, then loses the handle in the attacking zone, and it's handled by Kushansky. Now ahead, and then Russia loses the handle, and we've got a free-for-all here. And it's booted ahead there by number 10, John Pritzloff. John comes up with it, though, and gets one downfield. He's got Andrew Clayton. Andrew gives it off to Jeremy Kincaid. Kincaid's shot misses, and it's ran down by the goalie, Zambelli. Zambelli loses it. Zambelli, Nick Lowe, and John Clayton back there harassing the Russian goaltender, nearly causing a turnover. Really what we've seen from this New Zealand squad today. Just swarm. They attack the ball. Wherever it's at, they go get it. I think it's fair to say that they are the superior team when it comes to being the best conditioned. They've been running this Russian team ragged today. Constant pressure. And Russia turns it over. It's flipped ahead now. This is number 14, Max Vandermoss. He gives it to John Clayton. Clayton's shot is rebounded and right back to him. He takes another shot. This one missed. Vandermoss with it. And he's tripped by the goaltender, Zambelli. Stopping the clock. With a minute 7 to go here, as we've got to get some clarification, I think, as to what just went on, how they're going to call this one. I believe they're going to wave the flag off, if I'm not mistaken. Let's get the... So goalie interference on New Zealand.
1 minute 7.
So they'll wind the clock, ready for play here as soon as the, there we go. Heard the whistle, and there it goes. Zambelli with it. And once again, John Clayton back to harass. Friedman with it on the far side for Russia as he makes his way into the zone and makes a good move there. Flips one at the goal, but we've got to have a penalty here. That was too many bodies flying around for there not to be one. That's going to be on Toby Delamore, number 23 for New Zealand. He'll have a 30-second penalty. Good hard physical play. Toby just kind of caught a little bit out of position there. You hear him getting some encouragement there from the coach, telling him it was a good play. Good. You don't really mind hustle mistakes. When a guy makes a mistake when he's hustling hard, those are a little bit easier to forgive. We get guys making mistakes when they're being lazy. Those ones coaches don't like to let go. As we've got now the end of the third. That'll do it. We'll step aside and be back with the fourth quarter here in this matchup between New Zealand and Russia. New Zealand on top, 14-4. Back with more right after this. Welcome back here. Coachesaid.com. I'm Jeff Williams, bringing you live action for the 2014 World Lacrosse Championships here on field number 1 at Dick's Sporting Goods Park in Commerce City, Colorado. Getting ready to start the fourth and final quarter here. In this matchup between Russia and New Zealand. It's been all New Zealand to say the very least. And we'll get things going. Russia wearing the white with the red sleeves and letters, and New Zealand wearing the all black and white letters. And there's a goal scored rather quickly there. A hat trick now for Eugene Arkhipov. Eugene kind of been the lone bright spot for this Russian team offensively, as he gets his third goal of the match, three of the 4 goals actually. Jordan Friedman scoring the other one. Arkhipov, 27 years old. A number of these Russian players, some of them are rather old. David Diamina, 41 years old here, competing with 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds. And Nick Kashansky just became my favorite Russian player, learning that he's at Notre Dame. Big Irish fan. Here we go. If that's true, if Nick at Notre Dame had the opportunity to play for a national championship game, which Unfortunately, the Irish lost this past spring, but nonetheless, quite an opportunity for Nick to play in a World Championships and a National Championship, NCAA National Championship, with inside of a couple of months of one another. Pretty remarkable. Imagine the miles that youngsters travel. Russia with it now, and now there's another new goalie in net for Russia. This is number 0. That's Alexei Chernyshov. Alexei wearing number 0 for the Russian squad. And Russia now with it, looking to narrow this 9-goal deficit that they're up against with 17 minutes to go here in the match. Friedman looking to find some room. Finally does. And now we've got another penalty, as that's number 5, Aaron Graham. Looks like going to be whistled for some shenanigans. Illegal body check is the call on Aaron Graham. Aaron Graham will serve a 1-minute penalty as we have another clock stoppage. As we've got a timeout. I believe Russia wants to New Zealand now taking the timeout as a little few mental errors for New Zealand. While we've got a moment, we'll tell you about some more of our fantastic sponsors here, coachesaid.com. Papoose is known for their award-winning pizzas, their wide variety of salads, and Italian dinners. All of their food is cooked to order, and they only use the finest and the freshest ingredients. So stop by today. They're located at 5075 Leetsdale Drive in Denver, Colorado, 80246. Or you can call for delivery, 303-388-3211. I give you the zip code because if you're putting this Google into your phone trying to find something, it makes life so much easier when you have a zip code. And Big O Tire, where one-stop shop for tires not automotive maintenance. Big O carries a huge selection of tires as well as other services, including brakes, alignments, shocks and struts, fluid changes, fluid flushes, oil changes, just to name a few. No matter where you're at, Big O is there for you. Check them out at their Highlands Ranch location or give them a call at 303-694-4700. Back to action now. As again, Aaron Graham serving the 1-minute penalty. Will Kashansky will face off for Russia, and he'll face off against Jeremy Kincaid, I believe. Is that nope, that's 27, not a 17. Roderick John. We will not have a face-off. I don't know what I'm talking about. Russia will have the ball in the New Zealand end. This is Nick Kashansky, the Golden Domer. Will Kashansky over to Nick. Nick thought about firing, couldn't find that angle, so he gives it up. And this is Alex Pritzleff, number 8 for New Zealand, trying to get away, but did successfully come up with the turnover there. And this one now, number 9, Andrew Pritzleff. Roderick John pushing it now into the attack zone. He gets it down into the deep near side to number 1. That's John Clayton. John Clayton, a very, very busy guy today. 3 goals and an assist as he's waiting for some personnel changes here from New Zealand that will include Andrew Clayton, who will come in after the Andrew Clayton will check in now as it looks like New Zealand's got the men on the field that they want. Edward Roberts looking for he has his stick knocked away by Friedman. Here's Will Kashansky, number 28, going to get things going for Team Russia. Once again, it's John Clayton back there pestering anybody with a white jersey, and doing so successfully. Great effort from John Clayton back there. Can't say enough about how well this young man's played offensively, and now you see him working his butt off on the defensive end. Russia does finally clear it, get across midfield, and you can tell they're gassed. Friedman looking for somewhere to go. And the ball is in the air, and it's taken away by number 9, Andrew Pritzloff. Andrew gets it to John Pritzloff. Now over to Roderick John, who will carry it in the rest of the way. Back behind on the far side is John Clayton. John Clayton to Andrew Clayton. Check that. Yep, that's right, Andrew Clayton. And there's Edward Roberts. Great save by Alexei Chernyshov. And Will Kashansky comes crashing into the New Zealand bench, rather. New England. I don't know where my mind is. There's Andrew Clayton behind the net. And that one too tall for Roderick John, and that'll go out of bounds. We'll have a turnover, so we'll see some more personnel changes here as Nick Koshansky will check in for Russia. And Brad Tuz checks in for New Zealand. Once again, Russia has it in their own zone, and there's immense pressure coming courtesy of this New Zealand defense. And I don't know that I've seen John Clayton for New Zealand on the sidelines at any point other than at a timeout or between periods today. I don't know that he's ever come off the field. "12 minutes, 20 seconds to play here in the fourth." This is number 33, Yegazerev. John Clayton on the sidelines, I think for the first time. I'm comfortable saying that's the first time I've seen him there. May not be right, but I'm okay with it. So Russia with it now is Eugene Arhipov, stocking this New Zealand offense, looking for a window, looking for an alley. He tries the stutter step, but with him every step, Andrew Pritzloff. Now he gets away, but still can't find a narrow, as there was help from the New Zealand defense to cut him off. Zachary Cowan, number 2, trying to make something happen back there. John Clayton. Nope, that's not John. That's number 11, not number 1. Brad Tuz for New Zealand, making life difficult. This is Nick Koshansky. Koshansky looking for an avenue, can't find one, peels off. Now it poked away. He's scooped up by Pritzloff. Pritzloff on the run, that's John. He gets it ahead to Andrew Clayton. And that went out of bounds and will stay with New Zealand. And we'll have a 2-minute water break. While we have that 2 minutes, we'll go ahead and step aside and take a quick break. We'll be back with more right here on CoachesAid.com. All right, the water break is over. Again, these officials doing an outstanding job of making sure these young men have the ability to perform at a high level and do so safely. So they've been taking periodic 2-minute mandatory rehydration breaks. These guys are getting some water and staying refreshed. We're going to get back to action now. New Zealand will have the ball, have possession. And it's Andrew Clayton in behind the Russian goal. Out top, now back around. This is Graham, number 5, finds the net. So Andrew Graham, check that, Aaron Graham, my mistake. Aaron records his 3rd goal of the match. 3 hat tricks for this Kiwi squad, which matches what we saw the last game I called. And Bermuda managed 3 hat tricks over Uganda. 3 different players. So Aaron Graham with 3 goals. Back to the face-off we go. Nick Ravenhall for New Zealand. And he'll square off against Nicholas Riedkin, number 7 for Russia. Ravenhall comes away with it, and he's on the run. He gets it ahead to number 6, now kicks it back. This is Toby Delamore with it. Toby looking for some help, not getting it. Big hit there, courtesy of number 22. That's David Dayamanan. Dayamanan, 41 years old. Laying a bone out there. You gotta like that. Nonetheless, New Zealand with it. Andrew Clayton behind the Russian goal. Kicks it around to Nick Lowe. That one goes wide and waiting for the call. Move remained with New Zealand, as Edward Roberts, number 19, was in the area. Edward Roberts, pair of, just 1 goal and 1 assist, but a young man who's been very active for New Zealand today. Kincaid looks for, Roderick John looks for a window. Here's Robert with it. And there we go. Richard Clayton, number 3, gets on the board. He was the only Clayton to not find his way into the scoring column. Check that off the list. 4 Claytons on the roster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 goals between the four Claytons. Mike and John Clayton both with hat tricks with 3 goals apiece. Andrew has 4 assists to go along with 2 goals, so Claytons have been impressive. Here's number 24. This is Nick Ravenhall charging hard into the attack zone. He throws one. This one gets caught up again by Alexei Chernyshov. Loose ball now corralled by Pritzlaff. This time number 8, Alex. Alex charging hard into the attack zone. He gives it up. Toby Delamore. Toby looking for some help, and he finds it in the form of Richard Clayton. Richard taking it into the near corner. Kicks it back behind to Andrew. Here's Andrew Clayton. Oh, and Richard Clayton finds the pipe, but couldn't find the net. Well-placed shot, just missed it. And he had a pair of goals. Russia trying to get it out. No luck as they kick it back to the goalie. And mishandled there. It's batted ahead. Corralled by Roderick John. John going to pick it up and go on the attack. In behind now, Andrew Clayton. Back to Roderick John. Out top, that's number 17, Jeremy Kincaid. Inside of 4 minutes to play here in this match. 11-goal margin here now in favor of New Zealand. That one gets poked away, and Russia's going to have a chance to, there will be a turnover. Nick Lowe couldn't quite corral the loose ball. John will come off for New Zealand, and Omar Al-Kayat will jog on. Once again, Russia with possession of the ball, but on the wrong side of the field where they need to be, and they want to score and get back in the game. Friedman. Now he'll duck and run. Friedman will get across midfield. And Friedman's long pole bounces well in front and goes out of bounds. Russia will retain possession. It did look like perhaps Max Vandermaas was in the area. Could have perhaps made a play there. Number 9, that's Ray Zimlin. Now, good save there. This time Heath Simone. So there's been a goal change there by the Russians. Sorry, the New Zealanders. Casey McLean was outstanding in goal today. He'll get a break, and Simone will take it the rest of the way. Just over 2 minutes to play here in the fourth period. It's Aaron Graham with the ball. Aaron with a hat trick today. Some outstanding play defensively as well. out a whistle. But apparently that came from another field. So we're going to keep going here. Nick Lowe has it behind the net, and Russia showing no interest whatsoever in trying to finish this one out on a positive note. They're just going to let New Zealand run the clock off. And New Zealand's going to be content to do just that, as they've outplayed Russia in all aspects of the game today. And they ran Russia into the ground, really. I think that's a fair thing to say in terms of the pace, the tempo that New Zealand forced the entire match. Nick Lowe. That one misplayed there a little bit by James Devine, but he's able to corral it. And that is going to do it. And inside of about 40 seconds to go here. And Russia's just going to be content to allow New Zealand to run the clock out. It's been a great day. Some good weather here. The wet stuff held off. It does look like perhaps we'll get some coming later, but during competition it stayed rather beautiful around here. No complaints. And a great match here. We got to see a tremendous New Zealand team that was exciting to watch from start to finish. And they're going to come away with a victory here as the final 5 seconds now begin to tick off. They'll take this 11-goal victory, 16-5. New Zealand takes it, and we'll have the shaking of the hands. That's going to do it for us here today. Field 1 is done. Plenty more lacrosse, though, from all the other fields. Right here on CoachesAid.com. Don't go anywhere. A lot more fun coming your way. I'm Jeff Williams. We'll see you around.